Okay, so the first step that I took was to graph these things. Now your graph may look a little bit more compact. Maybe you didn't skip lines like this. That's okay. If it's more compact, no problem. The next step, of course, is to label equilibrium as soon as you have plotted the demand and the supply curve. And keeping in mind that this equilibrium won't exist anymore if either the supply curve turns this way or that way, or if the demand curve shifts this way or that way. This equilibrium will no longer be valid. Price equilibrium 1. Right, so then we look at the scenario again and we check here. Write out the price, equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity. So my answer here would be equilibrium price is $1,000. Equilibrium quantity is 500 apartments. Equilibrium quantity is 500 apartments. Another way you can do this is simply look. Where is there a matching number between quantity supplied and quantity demanded? And that would be your first equilibrium. Equilibrium price, equilibrium quantity. Next step. Read the scenario. 1,000 refugees come into the area. That means that you have more population. An increase in population affects demand. That is one of the determinants of demand. So what happens? Demand increases due to an increase in population. If you haven't been practicing memorizing your determinants of supply and your determinants of demand, this part is going to be a little more difficult. You might be able to get this, but this one might be difficult for you. So, increase in demand. I'm going to do green for increase. D2. Now, because we have a new curve, I now need to plot a new equilibrium. This is the current supply curve. This is the current demand curve. QE2. PE2. Right? Next. Now consider if landlords continue to sell studio apartments at $1,000 a month. So, this is no longer equilibrium. This is equilibrium. So what would happen if someone continued to sell at this old price even though equilibrium has changed? So instead of an E, we're just going to call this a price because it is definitely not equilibrium. Price, we've done number 1, number 2. We're going to use a number 3. Price 3, come across here all the way across. All right. Where does this new price that is not an equilibrium price touch the supply curve? Touches it here. So we go down from here. We call this quantity what? It's touching the supply curve. Quantity supplied. And it correlates with this price 3, so we're going to give it quantity supplied 3. Now, where does this touch the demand curve? Way over here, barely intersects before the demand curve goes off the grid. You take this down. This is where the price touches the demand curve. So we're going to call this my lead's breaking. Quantity demanded 3. Okay. I'm going to do this lightly because my lead just broke. Okay, so now we have quantity supplied, meaning businesses are supplying this much, but people are needing this much. People are needing more than is being provided for them. So what does that create? That creates a shortage. Okay. So over here, shortage or surplus, we've shown a shortage. Okay. Last step. What would occur if a new apartment complex were to build in downtown Sacramento? Okay, this is a new apartments being supplied. This is increase in supply due to increase in suppliers of apartments. So, over here, we need to increase the supply. I'm going to have to use a new color. Here we go. Here's our old supply curve. To increase it, we take it to the right. So here's our new supply curve. What do we do if we have a new curve? We need to show the change in equilibrium. Now, make sure you pick the correct curves to show equilibrium. Some people are going to draw equilibrium here. Oh, look, there's an intersection. But this is D1, not the most current demand, D2. We've got to find where the most current demand is, which is D2, with the most current supply, which is S2. So where do those two touch? They touch here. Not here, not here, not here. You need to find where the most recent demand and most recent supply curve is. It's here. Quantity, equilibrium quantity. Let's see here, we've used 3, 2, 1, 4. Over here. Equilibrium price, 4.